Hello and welcome back to my channel. This might be interrupted by some bug swatting. The bugs are really bad, and luckily on my way into the forest it was pouring rain, so I got drenched, but also it was amazing because all the deer flies and the mosquitoes lessened. But yeah, after the rain the bugs tend to get, look at this. I don't know if you can tell, there's just like a swarm of deer flies. My hand is literally swollen because one bit me right in between my fingers. Not pleasant. Anyways, I came to share that I've been moving through a lot of grief today. And I didn't really know why. Just feeling so much happening in my heart. So I went on this walk just because I needed some solitude time and to just feel, to move, to be with myself, to comfort myself, literally just to be with myself the way that you would just keep company with a child that was just sad. You don't try to fix it, you don't try to change it, you just be with them, you just be. So that was my intention. And as I've been walking, I felt called to listen to some of my own music from my Instagram account. And it just brought me back to my own heart. And I was just receiving so much medicine, so many messages that I needed to hear right here, right now, in this moment for what I'm going through, came through my old songs, my old channels. And it was giving me so much guidance and clarity of what I'm moving through again. And it's the grief of letting go. Once again, knowing deep inside what I have to let go of. The version of myself that is once again dying. Because we're always, as long as we are willing to keep letting go, we're always in this cycle of death and rebirth, death and rebirth, death and rebirth. Shedding, another frog, shedding the old layers of ourselves, letting them be purified and burned by the fire. And out of the ashes, the new version of ourselves emerge. And, you know, it's uncomfortable. And we look back and we grieve the old aspects of ourselves, the old versions of ourselves. And I've been moving through that again, you know, I've been feeling this releasing again happening within me. And the grief that comes with it, the grief of letting go of all the aspects of that version of me, this version of me now, letting go. And I'm listening to this music of mine, me singing to me a year ago, 6 months ago. I'm seeing that I'm no longer that version of me and feeling grief for that, because I'll never experience that aspect of myself again. I'll never be her again. She lives inside me forever, but I'll never be her again. And then feeling grief for the aspect of myself that I am now, that I'm shifting, that I'm letting go of, and knowing that when I shift and let go of a layer, an aspect of myself all over again, I release and let go of people, of places, because they they identified with that old version of Alyssa. But I'm not that anymore. And you know, we want to bring people with us. Or at least I experience this a lot, where I want to bring everyone with me on my path. I don't want anyone to get left behind. And every time I'm on a new journey and I feel this big change and this big wave of momentum coming to pull me into a new reality, I grieve every time, because it feels like I'm leaving people behind. And I know I'm not. I know we're all one. I know every time I expand, they expand. But I also know that my relationships are expanding and changing with the ones that I love the most. And of course we want to bring the ones that we love the most with us. Of course we want them to be on this journey side by side, hand in hand, but it's not always that way. And this path is teaching me deep trust and faith that the divine has, I know that the divine has a plan for everyone, and it's all different, and we all have different wounds and different stories within ourselves that need to be unraveled. And because our stories that we hold on to are all so different and unique, so our unraveling needs to be different. The places and people and experiences that the Divine Mother, God, Goddess, whatever you want to call it from, guides us to needs to be different to match the type of stories we need to let go, to trigger the type of stories we are holding to let go of, and the wounds, to trigger the wounds, to invite the relationships in, and all of the different experiences we need to reflect the different things within us that represent our chains. So we have to trust that they're being guided, the ones we love are being guided just as much as we are, and we can't save anyone, we can't bring anyone with us. The only thing we can do for others is continue to walk our path, continue to speak our truth, continue to take that next step for ourselves, because every step you take ripples out. Every time your heart opens more and you expand more, they expand more through you, because they are you and you are them. But a lot of this path for me so far has been walking alone or with my brother. But when it's not my brother I'm walking side by side with, for the most part, it's walking alone. And I know that's just a phase. Fresh blueberries. Not blueberries, blackberries. I know it's just a phase, and I know it doesn't last forever. And I'm grateful for it. But that doesn't mean that there's not grief. Every time I'm being asked to let go, every time I'm being asked to trust that God has them just as much as He has me, that they're being guided just as much as I'm being guided, even if they don't know it. I'm gonna get in my car because these bugs are bad. It's boring my brother's hat. I guess the bugs are so bad. So yeah, if you are experiencing a lot of grief and you can resonate with this, you're experiencing grief for the old aspects of yourself, I hope that you can find gratitude within that grief, gratitude for those same aspects of you that you are now releasing, gratitude for those same aspects of yourself that got you here, to this exact point, that were strong enough to carry you here, that helped make you, define you, shape you. Into the person you are and the person you are becoming, that each phase, each chapter, each person, each aspect of yourself, of self in the form of you and others, it's all perfect, it's all beautiful. And that's the point of this path. That's the path, the hero's journey, the path of the heart, as I like to call it. It's the ebbs and the flows of the joy, the ecstasy, and the bliss of being on the high highs when we're experiencing the bliss of being the new versions of ourselves. And then there's the low lows, where it's not even the low lows, but the moments where we are in pain and we are grieving the aspects that are dying within us, when we are grieving the stories that we are letting go of. But there's ecstasy and there's bliss in those moments too. There's ecstasy and there's bliss in the grief. And we don't hold on to any of it. We don't hold on to the high highs, and we don't hold on to the low lows, because we know it is just passing by like the breeze. We feel everything that is in the now deeply and fully. And we don't say, I can't wait to feel good, when we're feeling grief or feeling discomfort. You feel gratitude for whatever it is that is present with you in the now moment. You feel it fully, because that is your greatest gift. Whatever is for you right here in the now moment is your greatest gift. So feel it, because in feeling it, that is where you receive the medicine. That is where the magic is in the feeling it. So feel whatever is rising up in you now. We're going through so much as a collective right now. We are right now and always, but especially right now, we're all shifting through so much, so many layers, so many stories, through generations, through our entire life and what we've experienced, but for the generations before us as well, and the collective all being purged through us, for all beings everywhere. We're going through a massive transformation together right now. And there's no escaping it. There's no way out. There's literally no escaping it. The only way is through, and how you move through it is you feel it. You allow it to move through you. You avoid it. You create resistance and suffering for yourself. But when you surrender to it and you feel it all, you let it move through you and be transmuted and transform you. When you feel it, it is the fire that purifies you. It is the fire that forges your wings, that liberate you. Feeling is your greatest power, is your greatest strength, is your greatest gift. So don't be afraid to feel it all. You can't die from feeling it all, but you can possibly die from not feeling it. When we don't feel, we store those energies, we store those stories within our body, and they manifest in disease, in illnesses, in addictions. Not feeling does kill us. Feeling is our liberation. Feeling is our freedom. Feeling is when we give what is inside of us, what is moving through us, a voice. And through giving it a voice, we set it free. We set ourselves free. How we give things, energies, feelings, things, stories, a voice is using our own voice, singing, speaking, sharing, feeling our emotions, feeling, not identifying with it, but just allowing whatever is moving through you to move through you, even if you don't know why you are feeling sad or angry, to just be with it and allow it to be there, allow it to move through you. This is your greatest gift. The agenda is to have us not feel. Because when we are afraid to feel, and we are numbing, and we are running away from feeling, we are powerless. We are victims to our external world, to our inner world. We are victims, or we believe we're victims. We are running away, and only a victim runs away. But when we are not afraid to feel, and we meet everything in the face with gratitude to feel it, even the most painful experience, with open arms and an open heart, saying, yes, I will feel this. I can hold space for this. I know I'm strong enough to feel this. And when you feel it, Your inner strength, your spiritual strength will be multiplied. You get stronger and stronger. Everything that comes your way that feels like it is meant to take you down and break you will only make you rise higher, will only make you grow stronger. There is nothing that is sent your way that doesn't make you stronger. But it's your choice. Do you choose to be a victim to everything in your life, to the experiences that you experience, to the people, to everything? Do you choose to be a victim in your life, or do you choose to be empowered? The victor. Are you the victim or the victor? Nothing is sent your way that you aren't strong enough for. If you are experiencing it, it is for your highest good, and it is a gift sent by the divine some way, one way or the other, for your highest good and your highest expansion. Even the most painful experiences, and I know this may be triggering for some that have experienced really painful stories in their lives. I've experienced really painful stories, and I was a victim to all of them for years of my life, until I wasn't, until I decided I don't want that to be my story. I cannot live my whole life with that being my story. I won't do it. I won't do it. These stories will not define me. And I broke free from the stories. And I stopped identifying with the stories. And I let the stories go. I let them go. It's not who I am. It is not what I choose. And I pulled the medicine from the story by feeling it, by screaming it, by feeling the pain that those stories left on my body. Because yes, the stories hurt. They cut deep. Some of the cuts you will feel over and over and over and over and over and over again, until they're fully cleared, healed. It's not always comfortable. It rarely is comfortable. But in feeling those deepest, most painful aspects of yourself, the stories that created the most pain within yourself, I promise there's a gift beneath the pain. There is. Every time I dive into a story that is holding pain within my body, within my being, and I dive into it and I feel it, and I hold space for it, and I sit with it and I be with it and just move it. When I dance it out, when I sing it out, when I just quietly sit with it, whatever it is needing in that moment, when I be with it and I face it, there's always a gift underneath it. There's always a gift in it. There's always a purpose in the pain. Always a purpose in the pain. But you have to feel it first. So, whatever you're going through now, I hope you know how powerful you are. I hope you know how strong you are. I hope you remember that this is all for your highest good. I hope you know that there's nothing that will ever be sent your way that you are not strong enough to handle. Your soul chose it all. You are being guided. You are protected every step of the way. Everything is perfect. There's a saying, Ram Dass, I think it's by Ram Dass, or no, it's in a song. I listen to a Ram Dass a lot lately, so it's in a song though, it's not Ram Dass. And it's in a song, and she says something along the lines of, if God cares for the flowers in the forest and the fields, Do you not think he cares about you? And it's true. The flowers all open in the perfect timing. The trees drop their leaves in the perfect timing. Everything is always perfect. The sky rains when the earth needs it. The seasons happen. They just happen. Everything just happens. We do not need to think about it. We don't need to plan it. When we look to nature, we see that we are always guided. We all have our seasons. We all have a death and rebirth cycle. And we go through it over and over and over and over and over again. The key is to learn how to surrender and trust the process just as nature does, just as the trees trust that when they drop their leaves, new ones will grow. And that it is just part of their transformation. I've been seeing a lot of dragonflies have been a really strong part of my journey this summer. I've been seeing them everywhere, and I started seeing a lot of them when they were still crawling out of the water. And I was sitting by the water a few weeks ago, and I watched this dragonfly. And if you don't know what a dragonfly looks like before it's a dragonfly, it's literally like this. It kind of looks like a crayfish, like a little water bug thing, kind of like a shrimp in a way. And they live on the bottom of the water, in the muck, the mud. And that's their whole lives. That's the lives that they know. And then one day, they don't know why, they just come out of the water and they crawl up onto a rock somewhere. And I watched it crawl out of the water, and it's trying to find a really solid place to cling on the rock. And then it's drying in the sun, and I'm just watching it. And then its body is like jerking around and like flinching, and there was something happening within the body. And I know what happens with dragonflies, but I was like really in awe of watching this happening and wondering how much. I wonder if it's in pain. I wonder if it knows what it's going through. I wonder if there's a process and if it's thinking, but realizing that it doesn't. As I'm tuning into this and feeling and watching this dragonfly transform, and I didn't get to see the full transformation because I feel like it takes longer than a day. I was just tuning in, and I could just feel that, yes, it's in pain. But it's not identifying with the pain and going into the pain the way humans do, the way we do. It's experiencing it in a way of peace and divine trust and surrender. It's just like, it's with what is happening within it. There's nothing outside of the now moment for it. And it is just experiencing what is in the now, which is a lot happening within its own body. And it doesn't know what's happening. It just knows something is happening. It could be dying for all it knows, but it doesn't know. And then eventually, they're like this big when they come out of the water. And then, they grow these wings inside the shell and eventually break out of this shell, and they're this big, and dragonflies obviously come out to be about this big once they come out of that shell, and they have these big beautiful wings, and they're literally a totally different being. They're a pretty ugly little beetly weird pond bug this big that turns into this magnificent dragonfly with beautiful wings. And then that lift it up into a totally different reality, and it experiences a totally different world. From living in the water its whole life to now living in the sky as a totally different being, eating different foods, literally functioning in a totally different way. It is not the same being at all in any way, shape, or form. It is not the same being. And this goes for us too. Yes, we may look the same in some ways. We may still have the same body. Energetically, we are not the same beings as we go through this death and rebirth cycle, as we let go of these stories and grieve the old aspects of ourself that is of the non-self, actually, because it's not the truth of who we are. The aspects that we are dropping, the layers that we are dropping, are the non-self, are the identities. They are who we think we are, but it is not the truth of who we are. It is what we have identified with. And as those identities drop, so do those aspects of ourselves. And I've experienced it over and over and over again, where things that used to live within me just no longer are there. Triggers, wounds, they're just not there. It has felt like, it's a process, but some days I just like something that would have triggered me or created something in me shows up in my reality, and I'm like feeling nothing. Like feeling nothing for it to stick on. Because that aspect of me that it used to stick on, that story that it used to stick on, has been washed away, has been purified. Like water washing away footprints in the sand. I am no longer that version of myself. And when we step into the new and we embody a new version of ourselves, there may be people in our lives that still have projections and ideas in their mind of who they think we are. Everyone has a different idea of who they think we are, and none of it is true, and each person, it is completely different. But especially as we change, even the people that knew us the best and loved us the most, possibly, as we change and we shed these layers and we become a new version of ourselves, sometimes they can't see it. Sometimes they cannot see beyond the version of ourselves that they believe that we are. And then they project that onto us, and that's still all they can see. So it's crucial, and over and over and over again, I have stepped away from everyone I've known to embody the new aspect of myself, embody the new version of myself, because it can be challenging. I don't know if it's even possible. It may be possible, but for me, it doesn't feel possible to embody a new version of myself while I am around people that are still projecting the old aspect of myself onto me. I can feel it when I'm standing in front of them and I am not who they think I am. I am not Alyssa. I am a totally different being than I was. And they're seeing me and they're projecting a story onto me. And I'm observing this happening and being like, it's not me. Can't you see it's not me? That's not who I am. She's gone. That girl is gone. That story has been washed away. And of course, we want to look our friends and our family in the eye and say, can't you see? Can't you see me? Can't you see who is standing right in front of you? Can't you see that is no longer me? Can't you see who I am? Can't you see the truth of who I am? Who I am now in this now moment? Can't you let go of your projections? Can't you let go of your perceptions and your stories to see the truth? But we can't beg for others to see us, and they will only see us when it's time, when they're ready, if they're ever ready. And most people can only see you as deeply as they can see themselves. They can only meet you as deeply as they have met themselves. They can only love you as deeply as they have loved themselves. So as we grow and expand and love ourselves deeper and deeper and deeper, and meet ourselves deeper and deeper and deeper, and dissolve the stories more and more and more, it can feel lonely in ways because we identify with the world less and less and less. But in ways more and more and more, because we see that we are all one more and more and more. We see the non-separation more and more and more. But we no longer identify with those around us so much anymore. We no longer identify with the world around us so much anymore. And with that can come a lot of grief. But once again, in that grief, there's a gift. In that grief, there's a gift. when you feel that grief, it will expand your heart. It will move you. It will shift you. It will wash away even more stories. It'll lift you higher and higher and higher. So feel. That's what you came here for. Feel, feel, feel. I hope this finds a way into your heart, into your life, and that it serves a purpose. Maybe it's just one thing I said in here that gives you a guidance or a message that you need to hear today. Maybe it's all of it, maybe it's none of it. My wish is for you that you have the courage to feel everything you came here to feel, and that it transforms you into the most beautiful, free, activated, abundant person, aspect of yourself that you can possibly be. Much love.